Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about my knitting plans. I explicitly do not say that these are my knitting plans for 2025. Currently it's beginning of August and I'm pretty sure that I won't finish all of these projects during this year. Maybe in the next month, beginning of next year. But if you are also looking for some inspiration regarding yarn, patterns, if you have some yarn in your stash that you want to use up, maybe this video is for you. I do have 5 projects, patterns that I want to show you. Most of them are for children, but I saw that some of the patterns that are made for children are also in adult size. I have one project that I'm not really sure what to make of. Maybe you can help me with some patterns or you have some ideas for me. Let's see. But I want to start this video with more of a chatty part because I do have to address one thing about my channel and I also want to add a quick introduction of myself. So the thing I want to address is that I switched from German to English. If you have been here before or if you are even a subscriber, hi again. You will probably notice that I do now speak in English. This is something I just want to try. I myself watch a lot of videos on YouTube and also knitting videos on English. It's super interesting to learn from knitters around the world, to get inspiration from around the world. So this is also something that I would like to do to expand my channel to viewers that are not speaking German. So let's see how it goes. I already can tell that it's pretty hard to talk about such a specific topic in another language, so I really have to focus, but let's see how it goes. I'm also very open to your feedback, so if you are a subscriber or if you have been here before or if you like my videos because they are in German, just let me know in the comments. I'm also happy to get the comments in German. If you are new here, if you stumbled across this video because it is in English, also let me know. I'm very open for a conversation in the comments and I will see how I proceed. I said in my video before that this whole knitting journey is something I just enroll. I just see how it goes, and the same is with the language. I'm not sure if I want to speak in German or in English. So far it's pretty interesting and cool to speak in English, but I will see how it goes. Okay, and now to a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Julia. I'm 34 years old. I live in Munich in Germany with my little family. I have a toddler, she's 2 years old. This is why I also knit some things for her. And I am a freelance texter, so I write texts for websites, blogs, newsletters, social media, the whole thing. I really like it. I really like to be self-employed. The whole self-employment has been a journey, an adventure in itself. I do have some videos in German about that topic here on my channel as well, because I wanted to document that for myself and maybe for others. And yes, one of my hobbies is definitely knitting. I started knitting in 2020. I learned how to knit in school, but then I forgot it. And yeah, I came back to this hobby in 2020. I knit some things for myself because I would say I'm a slow knitter. I have my ebbs and flows with my knitting enthusiasm. But in my opinion, this is totally fine. It's just about having fun and not rushing from one project or deadline to the other. For me, it's just a hobby and this is perfectly fine, no pressure at all. Besides that, I do like going on walks. I love being in nature and move myself, and this is another big part of my life that I really love. Yes, and that's about me. I would love to get to know you better. Tell me more about yourself. Where are you coming from? For how long have you been knitting? What are you currently knitting on? Let's chat in the comments. Okay, so now this was a very chatty beginning, and now let's move on to my plans. I do have my notes here and we'll start right now. So the first pattern I want to talk about is the Storm Sweater Junior by Petite Knit. This is also available in adult sizes, and I'm very excited for this project. It will also expand my comfort zone a lot, in my opinion, because it's the first pattern with some kind of texture that I'm going to knit. So far, I have been knitting mostly top down with decreases, increases, some ribbing, but this pattern is, as I said, quite textured, so I really have to pay attention for every stitch that I'm going to make, and it will be quite exciting, I guess, but yeah, also expand my comfort zone a lot, I guess. The wool I chose is Gynt or Gynt by Sandnes Garn. It's this lovely pink. I bought 6 balls of them, of this wool, in a local yarn store here in Munich. The yarn store is called Wolle und Schönes. It's pretty close to where I live, but it was my first time I went there. I went there in January, so at the beginning of this year. And then I got sick, then I wanted to knit on some summer projects, and now I hope that once fall is coming, I will have the resources to finally cast on this project. About this wool, I never knit with this wool before, I think. It's a bit itchy. I hope that it will be okay once the sweater is done. But I read some really good things about this yarn. It's this one. I think it's really a classic by Sandnes Garn, but also in general. And I think it's very long lasting. The feeling is very good. It's a bit bouncy. As I said, a bit itchy. It's not like 100% like merino wool, which is super combed and very fluffy. But let's see how this works. I'm very excited to cast on this project. I really love the color. When I was in the yarn store, I was thinking more of a neutral color, but then I saw this color and I just love vibrant, strong, bold colors, and I knew I had to buy this one. As I said, I bought 6 balls. I think I want to knit for a 3-year-old. When I bought this yarn, I think I wanted to knit the pattern for a 2-year-old, but I don't know when I will be finished, so maybe it's a bit bigger once I finish this project, but this is better than to knit it and then it's too small. So yes, this is my first project that I want to cast on in the next weeks maybe, because now I have some projects that I'm working on, 2 baby blankets, and once they are done I will start with this one. So the next project I have in mind is the Mellow Tee Junior by Knit, I think the designer is called. I will insert some pictures here or here. And this is a quite funny story, because some months ago already we went to the city center and just for a little bit of a stroll, I don't know, I think it was a Saturday stroll, and we walked by Ludwig Beck, which is a big shopping center in the city center, and they also have a very good yarn store. I said, well, let's just have a look. It might be really crowded. I might need some help with my yarn choice and so on. So let's just have a look. I was already sure that the shop might be totally full of people and that I will turn around and just walk by. But I was really lucky. The store was quite empty. So I said, hey, let's just have a look at the yarn. I want to buy some yarn and treat myself a little bit. And yes, but I also knew that I do not want it to buy some yarn just without any plan. This is something that maybe gets easier once I'm more experienced with my knitting, but so far I really want to have a pattern in mind when I buy some yarn, because I do not want to buy too much yarn or too little yarn and then end up with a big yarn stash that I do not know what to do with. So I want to have something in mind and then buy the yarn that is meant for this pattern. This is also the reason why I've never been to a wool or knitting festival, or just browse through yarn stores and just buy randomly some yarn to treat myself. For me, it's easier to have a pattern in mind and then go to the store and buy the yarn and then knit it and then take the next pattern, go to the yarn store again, and so on and so on. So I went to this yarn store and I knew I wanted to buy some yarn, but and I also knew that I had some ideas in mind, and one of these ideas was the Mellow Tee Junior. I really like this pattern because it seems to be quite easy to knit. I think it's more or less top down, but it has these super cute ruffles, and I just love little detail on the clothes. I was in the store, I looked up the pattern, I just searched for the information about the yarn, and then I had the information and I took all the details, how much I needed for the size and so on, and I went to the person who worked there and asked for help and so on. And this is why I do now have these 4 balls of lang yarn baby cotton. The recommendation in the pattern is Merci by Lana. I know that this brand exists, but I never saw this yarn in a yarn store. So I asked for an alternative. And Merci by Lana, as far as I know, is a mix of 50% superwash merino and 50% Pima cotton. And I chose this lang yarns. This is combed cotton 100%. I hope that I will be able to work with it. I worked with 100% cotton before, and I know that it got a lot bigger with washing. So I really have to make sure that I do make a gauge swatch, wash it, like block it, and then see how the yarn behaves. So yes, this is what I decided on. It's a really vibrant blue. The color it says it's 1120106. I could not find a better color description, but this is the number. I will also write everything down in the description box if you are interested in this specific color. But yeah, it's a sport weight, so it's rather fine, and I'm excited to cast this on, and I hope I will not regret my choice of taking a yarn with 100% cotton. This is the second object or project I want to work on. The third project is also a pattern for children. It's called the Swan shorts by Maria Mestad. I got inspired by another knitter. She knit this pattern for her daughter. The knitter is called a Berlin Knitter on Instagram, and I immediately fell in love with this pattern because, same as with this one, I think it's pretty easy, and it has ruffles, and it's the shorts for summer, and I'm very excited to knit my first shorts for my toddler for next year. I had this pattern in mind, or in my Ravelry favorites folder, and then in May we went to Mainz to visit family, and I knew that there was also a big yarn store in the city center, and as we stayed nearby, this was one of my to-dos, or one of the things I wanted to do in Mainz, to go to this yarn store and buy some more yarn. Same with this, as a little treat or as a little souvenir. I don't know, I just wanted to buy the yarn, and this is why I came back with these little balls for this shorts. The pattern recommends knitting for olive merino, or knitting for olive cotton merino, or Sunday by Sandnes Garn. I have to say, I already knit with Sunday by Sandnes Garn, and I really like this yarn. With knitting for olive, I'm super curious about your opinions. Have you already knit with knitting for olive? I never did. I would love to one day, but 2 problems. We do not have knitting for olive here in Munich, as far as I know. I think there is no yarn store that really sells this brand. And also I read on the internet that the swatches from the brand are pretty much off. So I'm very worried that I buy some yarn on the internet and then I'm super disappointed with the color, how it turns out. So if you have already knit with Knitting for Olive, let me know in the comments. I'm super curious about that. Can you recommend a specific yarn? Can you recommend a specific yarn with a specific pattern? Do you have a favorite color? Let me know. I'm all ears when it comes to Knitting for Olive, because so far I never had the chance to see the yarn, to feel the yarn, and I would like to know. Let me know. So in this case, no Knitting for Olive for me, but I went to the yarn store. I asked for help because I'm still a beginner and I want help and I want advice. And the lady recommended this Pro Lana Basic Cotton. She recommended this is specifically because this is mesmerized, and I looked it up, and mesmerized means that the wool is treated chemically, I think, but this makes the cotton a bit more sturdy. It's less prone to grow and lose its shape, but it holds the shape a bit better. And as I'm a quite loose knitter, this might be quite good for me. So I chose this quite basic yarn, I would say. It's this color. I would say it's a dark pink. It has a really, really nice shine to it. It looks quite vibrant, but has also some depth. So it says 50 grams are 125 meters. So the yarn is quite fine, but we will see how it goes. And as I said before, I hope I do not regret the yarn choice of knitting with cotton only and not with a mix. But yeah, we will see. I will let you know. Okay, this is the third project that I have. And then finally, no, not finally, we come to a project for myself. So this is what we have. I have had this wool in my yarn stash for about a year now, and it's starting to worry me a little bit. As I said before, I do not like to have so much yarn. I mean, it's a bit contradictory now because I show you so much yarn, but this is because I have some plans and I really, really hope to knit all these projects I have in mind. But normally, I do not like to have so much yarn in my stash. I don't want to build up my stash so much. So this is starting to worry me a little bit. It's the Schachenmayr Merino Extrafine in 120. So this means we have 50 grams per ball and it's 120 meters. So I try to make it short. I knit a baby blanket with a yarn from this brand. I really, really like the quality. It was amazing. I hope the baby was happy, or the parents of the baby were happy to receive this blanket. Then I decided to knit a blanket for our child because we lost the baby blanket for our child and I wanted to have another one for her. I started a baby blanket with this wool with Merino Extrafine 120. But as our baby is not a baby anymore but a child, this seemed a bit too thin for me, the blanket, so I decided to stop with this project. Bought some more yarn, but with another thickness. This year is 50 grams, 85 meters, so this means that the strands are a bit thicker, and this turned out beautifully, as you can see in my last video if you are interested in baby blankets. I really, really love the color, but I had to order this specific color on the internet because my local yarn store couldn't order it for whatever reason. But this took some time, back and forth and so on. So in the end, I thought it's just unfair to get all the advice and all the help from my local yarn store, buy the yarn itself on the internet, and then to return all the yarn that I bought from the local yarn store. So I decided, okay, I'll just keep the wool. And now I have, I think, 4 balls, so 200 grams of this, no, it's 5 balls of this yarn. And I don't really know what to do with it. So I do have 2 patterns that I want to talk about, and maybe you have some inspiration too. This would be super, super helpful. The first pattern that I found, or that I have in my favorites folder, is the Clematis sweater by Emma Knits, and I just love this sweater. It's so beautiful. It looks pretty easy to knit. I think I say this all the time. It's pretty easy to knit, and then in the end I'm surprised. No, but I think it's pretty easy. Also, it has quite an adventurous detail, I would say, because it has a diagonal button band, and this is what's really tempting to me. And I was thinking about knitting a sweater for myself with this wool and this pattern. Let me know what you think. Speaking of this sweater, do you have some inspiration or brands do you like when it comes to buttons? For the projects that I knit that needed buttons, I once went to Ludwig Beck in the city center and they had beautiful buttons, however they were quite expensive. And for the other one I went to Sostrene, which is a DIY shop here in Germany, I think, or yeah, I think they are in some countries. So yeah, it's a DIY shop and interior and these things, lifestyle shop, and they also had buttons. I bought some, they were nice, but maybe if you know some other sellers, maybe on Etsy or yeah, small brands that sell beautiful buttons, let me know, because for this project I would need some buttons, and yeah, maybe I'll knit this pattern. Let's see. But also I'm a bit worried that I will not like this color anymore because I've just seen it too much now. I have this baby blanket that I really like, and this, yeah, and maybe it's just a bit too much of cherry red in my life. I don't know. But this is my fault because I did not return it, and now I have a lot of yarn in cherry red. Okay, so let me know if you have any ideas. I want to also talk about another pattern that came to my mind that I see a lot on Instagram and knitting YouTube at the moment. It's the Vilma test by Gregoria Fibers. Gregoria Fibers has a lot of crazy beautiful patterns, and I thought that the Vilma vest could be also suitable for this wool, but I do have two issues with this pattern. The first is that it has short sleeves. It is a vest, and when it gets cold I tend to be cold on my arms, so maybe this vest is completely useless and I will not wear it. And the other thing is, because this pattern has really beautiful details. It's called, I think it's called pointelle, which means that you knit like little holes and they build a small pattern, then like flowers and so on. And I once heard or read that with these textures that it's a bit better to work with lighter colors than with dark colors, so that the pattern really can shine and you can see all the details. But maybe this is just what I heard, and in the end you do you knit with whatever you want and in whichever color you like, but this is something I have in mind. So I just wanted to share the pattern with you, the Vilma test by Gregoria Fibers. Maybe it's an inspiration for you, but I just tend to the Clematis sweater. I will have to check if the yarn is suitable for this pattern, and then we will see. Maybe you will see this wool again in one of the next videos. And then we come to the last project. For the last project I do not have any yarn yet, but I saw this on Instagram too. It's the Maier scarf by My Dear Poppet, and this pattern is only for babies or children. It's a small scarf and I just fell in love immediately. I saw Angie knit on it for her baby, and the scarf just looks so beautiful. It's what I really like about it. Is that it is not a basic triangle, which would build a lot of bulk here in the neck area, but it's a bit rounded, and I think this would be perfect for our child. I asked Angie if this is also suitable for a toddler. She said yes, and she also gave me a yarn recommendation because I think I saw on Instagram that she knitted in cashmere, and I never worked with cashmere before, so I think I really want to knit this mini scarf for our child in the next weeks. In the best case, I think Angie recommended cashmere by Cardiff Cashmere, so I will see if I can find this in my local yarn store or maybe even buy it on the internet. I'm looking for more of a neutral color for this project, but I will have to do some research about that. About this pattern and about this designer, My Dear Poppet, I just wanted to say that I think she's more of a small designer, micro designer, but I just really like her patterns. And what I love about this brand or this designer is that she came back to me immediately when I had a question. In my previous video, I talked about another designer and that I had a question and she didn't come back to me, which is very, very personal. And I know that. I think it comes with a lot of expectation. What do I expect from a knitwear designer? How much help and advice do I need? Do I want? But in this case, I really, really have to say that it just made me so happy to get a response immediately, to get some recommendations and help and some guidance. Yeah, it just, I don't know, makes the knitting experience so much better with having specific tips and recommendations. And I just wanted to let you know, if you want to support her, I think she has really, really nice patterns. And that's it for today. Wow, so this was my first video in English. Let's see how it went. I will see when I edit this. But I hope that you maybe took some inspiration out from it. As I said before, let me know what you are knitting on. I would love to get to know you better. Also, let me know what works better for you. Is it German? Is it English? I hope you also have some really nice knitting projects on your needles. And thanks for being here. Have a very good day and let's talk in the next video. Bye bye.